A long time ago in Ireland, before the time of the Gael, Ireland was home to the Tuatha De Danann, a magical and mystical people. They were led by a king called Bog Derg. Bog Derg was a wise and just king. He was, however, disliked by one of his noblemen, Lir. Both men had competed to become the king, but the Tuatha De Danann had chosen Bog Derg over Lir. Bog Derg, being a wise man, knew that a friend was better than an enemy, so he tried to win Lir over to his side. Bog Derg proposed to marry one of his daughters to Lir, and Lir agreed. Lir chose the most beautiful and gentle of the daughters, Ev, to be his wife. A great love grew between Lir and Ev, and they had a daughter, Fionnuala, and three sons, Aed, Fiachra, and Con. Their family was full of joy and love. Sadly, Ev fell ill and died. The family was overcome with grief, and Lir's heart was torn into 1,000 pieces and cast to the four winds. With his own heart filled with pity, Bog Derg decided to marry another one of his daughters, Aoife, to Lir, hoping that she would be a loving and caring stepmother to his grandchildren and would give some comfort to his heartbroken son-in-law. Aoife was nearly as beautiful as Ev, but she was not nearly as kind and loving as her sister. Seeing how close Lir was to his children, she became jealous. Aoife wanted her new husband all to herself, and devised a way of getting rid of her sister's children. One day, when Aoife was bringing the children to visit her father, she decided to kill them. There was some small speck of compassion left in Aoife's twisted and rotten heart. Seeing the fear in the children's eyes, Aoife was unable to kill them. Instead, Aoife turned to her magic. She cast a spell on Lir's unfortunate children, transforming them into 4 beautiful swans. They were cursed to spend 300 years on Loch Dervarach, then spend 300 years more flying the straits between Ireland and Scotland. Finally, they would have to spend 300 years being battered by the wind and the sea on Ireland's wild west coast. The spell would not be lifted until the children heard the ringing of a bell, announcing a new dawn in Ireland when the shackles of evil would be broken. When Aoife arrived at Bog Derg's home, he was furious when he found out what happened to his grandchildren, and his heart was filled with rage. Instead of killing Aoife, although she deserved it, Bog Derg cast a spell of his own and turned Aoife into her true form, a demon of the air, who was cursed to bitterly spit her venom into the faces of men until the end of the world. For 300 years, the children swam on the waters of Loch Dervarach. Larn learned what happened to his children and would often join them on the lake shore. Eventually, Lir grew old, and his time in this world came to an end. The children were heartbroken at the passing of their father. After the 300 years were over, the children flew north to the waters between Ireland and Scotland. During their time in the north, Ireland changed as the island was swept by a storm of Gaelic steel. The Tuatha De Danann faded into history as their time ended, and the age of the Gaels began. After another 300 years, the children left the waters of the north and flew to Ireland's west coast. They spent 300 years there, being battered by the wind and the sea. After many years of misery, one day, when the children were flying, they heard the sweet ringing noise of a bell travelling through the air. Their hearts leapt for joy, for they knew that their ordeal was coming to an end. The children flew down and saw a stranger walking along the shore. The man was unlike anyone they had ever seen before. He wore strange robes, unknown to the Tuatha De Danann, and his head was shaved in a tonsure. The children greeted the stranger, and he jumped in surprise. The children told their sorrows to the man, and his heart was moved by love and pity. The man told them that he was named Cuibhóg and that he was a monk. He explained that the days of the Tuatha De Danann were over, and that Ireland was under the sway of the Gaels. The Gaels had given up their idols and had turned to the true God, for Patrick had come to Ireland and preached the good news of the gospel. Cuibhóg invited the children to come back to his cell for him to care for them and to teach them about Christianity. The children agreed, and they stayed with Cuibhóg for many nights as he instructed them in the teachings of Christ. One day, Largan, the king of Connacht, broke into the cell and demanded the swan children as a gift for his wife. Cuibhóg refused and rang his bell in defiance. Immediately at the sound of the second ringing, the children were transformed, losing their swan forms and returned back into children. The long centuries quickly caught up with the children, and they began to age rapidly in front of the eyes of Cuibhóg and Largan. The children begged the monk to baptize them, for they knew that they would soon perish like the rest of the Tuatha De Danann. Cuibhóg happily baptized the children. Soon the children passed from the world, and this is how the last of the Tuatha De Danann entered into the kingdom of heaven.